There's so much going on around me. Sometimes I think that it is all about me. Then I look around and see what's in front of me. It's you and me in my community.
Morning, everybody. I'm going to tell you a story about a young man, but in the 70s. Probably for you, they are old men. And the story is about something that most of you, probably 99% of you, are not familiar with, and that is Chinese music. What's so special about this young man with Chinese music? He founded the orchestra in 1974, some 40 years ago. And in 1981, he led the orchestra to perform in Singapore. In 1984, he incorporated the orchestra with Chinese opera singing. And in 1985, the orchestra won the Young Musicians Award in Hong Kong. And the young man also won the Young Musicians Award in composition. So both in performance and in composition, the young man got the award. And that probably is a time span of 10 years for that young man. So 1974, and you can still find that the Chinese character is read from here to here, from right to left instead of left to right in the newspaper. Okay, so nowadays it's not like that. It's from left to right. Okay. So for his first performance, it was published by the press. 1981, the group wants to take music to everywhere. Chinese art, a big dream. And 1984, collaborating with Chinese opera singing, and you can see Mr. Law is still having a lot of hairs, if you recognize him. Okay. And then 1984 and 1985 got prizes. So I think young men can achieve a lot. Because they have passion, they think out of the box because they don't have that many boxes. And they have a dream. And with a dream, young people can achieve a lot. And I think you can achieve a lot. And this young man, when he founded this orchestra, he was only a high school graduate. When talking about the dream and the box, I think it's not just thinking outside the box. You need to think of inside the box and outside the box. If not, your dream will never come true. And when you grow older and older, you are taught more and more, and you learn more, you have more boxes. And these boxes can limit you, but at the same time can strengthen you. And I would say, thinking inside, you have to think both inside and outside the box. And then your dream can come true. When thinking about inside and outside the box, I think that will be equivalent to creativity. Because creativity do not come out from nothing. You are trained in university, you are trained in primary and secondary schools. You have a lot of training. You do not just create something without training. And so your training, your core skills is still important. But you still need to think of outside the box so that you do not be bound by your own training. And you have to, all of you, when you come here because you want to know something more outside your boxes. So creativity comes when you learn from different things and you combine different things to create your own things. And I don't think creativity just limited to art, music, and culture. It also extends to your thinking, your philosophy, It's not about yourself, but more about the community. Then the world is much larger. Do not just think about yourself, but think about the community. Then your creativity will be unlimited. So I believe you are the same, and you will have a dream, you can achieve more, and you can contribute to the community. And I think this is important when you think about the community. There's so much needs in the community that you will have unlimited creativity to work on. How about this young man? From 1974 to 1985, did achieve a little bit, but he went away, study music, get married, come back to Hong Kong, get a job, have kids, about to retire. Just an ordinary man, nothing special. And that's me. I'm going to retire, and I'm still working on this. My dream hasn't come true. It was 40 years ago. I'm still working on this orchestra, the Yueh Chinese Music Association. What am I doing right now? I'm mature, I think. I'm mature enough to say I'm mature. I don't admit that I'm old, but probably the second mature stage. But I still believe in young people. I believe they are more creative than I do. They have more spaces to think about it. And I learn from them every day. I learn from you also. Because you have a lot of things that you want to do. And I work with young people almost all my life because I'm still working in the Hong Kong Institute of Education. So I work with young people all the time. And I even follow the trends. And how do I follow the trends? Of course, when I work with young people, I also want to transmit the good value that I think is good to them, and want to transmit the good value to them, and I want our young people to grow, and most of all, again, to contribute to society. Because I think I'm still contributing to society. And if we can do that when we will have this dream in mind when we were young, then we can contribute more because we have more time. I only think about this only for about 10 years. When I have the dream, I don't think. Indeed, when I have the dream in Chinese music, the group of people working with me are all thinking that we want to promote Chinese music in Hong Kong, which you only know about Chinese music when you see a beggar in the street, then in the 70s, right? And we think, no, why Chinese music in the street? Of course, now you have street music, which is very popular among young people. But then, in the 70s, if you are talking about Chinese music, people talk about poor people. So we young people think we want to promote Chinese music. And that's why we formed the orchestra. So, right now, our vision is to promote Chinese music, serve the community, inherit the tradition with sustained creativity. Creativity is easy. I can tell you, very easy. But to have sustained creativity is another thing. It's another thing. When you create something, you have to continue to create, make it better, better, better. That's a hard thing. Okay? And our mission will be to promote Chinese music with creativity and innovation through nurturing local talents. I would say we have a lot of talents in Hong Kong, but we don't have good platform for them to express themselves. So local talents is our resources. across different art forms, not only in Chinese music, now across different art forms, to people in all walks of life and focusing on the, I would say, international market, not just the market in Hong Kong. Okay. So creativity and innovation, we have sand painting with Chinese orchestra, double brass quintet with Chinese orchestras, micro movie with Chinese orchestras, live laptop computer music with Chinese orchestra, jazz and with Chinese orchestra. So there's a lot of crossover. And we work on newly commissioned works. We commission young people to do that. Here is one of the examples of combining the brass quintet and the Chinese orchestra. Performance in last July. So, I think we are serving the community in different ways. Of course, the general audience, the public, and we give a platform to amateurs and professionals to show off their talent. It's not just the professionals, it's not just the amateurs. We combine professionals and amateurs together, and we have a lot of talented people who, like you, probably in the audience, you are studying engineering, accounting, and so on, but you are very talented in your violin or your brass. Why not use your leisure time to contribute to the community and perform? You can perform a lot. And we give free tickets to disabled people, students, underprivileged families. Free for this. I would say this is high quality performance. Okay. And we also give public and school concerts and workshops. Over 30 NGOs have benefited from our scheme, and we continue. We also benefit from public funding because we need public funding to sustain. And also private funding. We have there's a lot of reports about in the press saying that our path of development, creativity, and ambition in changing the development of Chinese music in Hong Kong. We have been invited by Zhongshan to perform over there with musicians from mainland China, Taiwan, Macau, and Hong Kong. And we launched a series of micro-movie concerts with original scripts, micro-movies, music, and performance all live. Okay. It was reported widely in the press. And we were compared with Warren Mock, the famous opera singer, with our orchestra as exemplars of inheriting the Western and Chinese tradition in Hong Kong. That's what we have done. And this is another performance that you may want to see, and that's combining sand painting with traditional Chinese music. The first one was done by young Hong Kong composers, and this one is done by mainland China composers. This is a 20-minute performance. You can only have a glance on it. And so that's the crossover thing that we have been doing recently. And the next, what's next? And this is next. I want to focus on young people. And I think our young people can do more. And there are many young people who want to pursue a professional life in music performance. And so I grouped these young people together as a small ensemble, because the large orchestra is very expensive. You can imagine how hard it is to manage a large orchestra financially, and also with different kinds of instruments. But by working together with a small ensemble, it helps. It will be more mobile to do the work. And I want to do some other innovative things to have 4 more minutes. Okay, so this is a group, and we do some jazz playing. So, we have some jazz playing, and hopefully this group can continue to grow. It's not only one piece, it has to have a lot more creativity to continue. So what we are doing is we want to have sustainability, and this is only the beginning, and I don't know whether we can still sustain, but for normal model for a cultural group is usually to be subsidized by the government in Hong Kong at least. So all the what we always call the 9 big performing groups are all subsidized by the government, and they only concentrate on their performance, and the government gives them the money. And I think this is an old model, and I don't think this will survive continuously, because of the government are all saying that they are very poor. So, we still need to have subsidies from not only the government, but we are also exploring asking for private donations. So the subsidized model still will continue, but we need to have a business model which I need to learn from Horace. And I don't know how to do business, so I need to find some partners who knows about business before we can continue. And so I would say a mixed model is more important. It will be a way forward for cultural performance groups. And so would it be a social enterprise or what we call a cultural enterprise, serving the community with high quality performance and activities, focusing not only on the young professionals but also the amateurs at a much lower cost. I think that's important. Music art is so expensive. You can see Hong Kong Philharmonic Orchestra, Hong Kong Chinese Orchestra, how much money is spent each year. Okay, that's a huge amount of money. But with the mix of amateur musicians and professional musicians, we can, I would say, if you could give 1/10 of the money of Hong Kong Philharmonic or 1/10 of that of Chinese Orchestra, I can do much more than that. Right now, I don't have that. I only have very small amount. So at a very low cost, we will have more cultural activities, more cultural performing groups in Hong Kong, and we'll change the culture in Hong Kong, that many of you can enjoy cultural activities at very low cost. So I formed this Waiwa pop-up ensemble, and this is a composer from Taiwan. So, Hong Kong, mainland China, Taiwan. The one who plays the oboe is studying architecture at Hong Kong, Chinese University of Hong Kong. And so we have architects who play music too, right? So there are a lot of talents in Hong Kong, and I think we can do more. If you want to know more, this stand-up comedy with Chinese music on June 28th, 2015 in Hong Kong City Hall. Okay, we have invited Vivek Mahbubani to do a show for us. Thank you. Thank you very much.